Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So the topic of today's video is something I've been meaning to talk about for a while because I've been seeing an uprising of content about mistreatment in the K-pop industry all over the place for these past few months. I have a lot of thoughts on this as I've made plenty of videos about groups being mistreated. I have my Why X Group Flop series where I essentially talk about all the ways companies could have advocated for their groups better. I have my video about Red Velvet, my video about Loona, and a lot more, so I'm definitely not a stranger to this topic. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to talk about this because I've been seeing a lot of conversations lately about companies mistreating their idols. I've seen many people throw around the word mistreatment a lot when talking about unfortunate things to happen to a group or an idol, even when it doesn't really apply. So in this video, I want to go through and talk about what mistreatment actually is, mistreatment versus mismanagement, the effect that the mindset of, oh, my fave is so mistreated can have on both the fandom and the group or idol in question, and how the topic of mistreatment in the K-pop industry has been trivialized by K-pop stans. So starting off extremely literally, the definition of mistreatment is to treat someone or something badly or abusively. To go even further, abusing something is defined as treating someone or something in a way that is harmful or offensive. So taking these two definitions together and applying it to the way that companies treat their idols, mistreatment means that a company is treating their idols in a way that is deliberately harmful. The company is purposefully doing things that hurt their idols physically, mentally, financially, etc. The reason why I go out of my way to define this is because mistreatment is often confused with mismanagement when it comes to how companies treat their idols. Mismanagement means that someone or something is being managed badly and/or incorrectly. While sort of similar in definition, unlike mistreatment, mismanagement does not have to be deliberate. So when applied to K-pop, mismanagement of idols by their company can happen as a result of underqualified staff, poor budgeting, changes in management, and other problems that arise. While these problems may not be causing a company to deliberately hurt their idols, it can result this way simply because of a company's poor decision making. An example of mistreatment would be the way that Entertainment Pascal treated their girl group Stellar. I've already made a video on this, but for those of you who don't know, Stellar were repeatedly manipulated and sexually exploited by their management. They were forced to dress and dance provocatively, and their company repeatedly used their contracts as a means of forcing the members to do whatever they wanted, even if they were uncomfortable with it.
갑자기 그것도 당일날 이 의상으로 입어보라고, 이거 입고 절대 우리가 춤 못 춘다. 그럼 한번 일단 해봐라. 너네는 왜 안 해보고 말을 하냐. 이래서 그걸 한 5장인가만 딱 찍고 봐봐요. 너무 심하지 않냐고. 그래 뭐 갈아입어라 했는데 그 사진으로 나가는 거예요. 나온 거 보고 전화하고 이게 뭐냐고 따졌죠. 아 몰랐어? 그래 다음부터 안 그럴게 했는데 이미 나갔는데 어떡해요. 잘 아셨던 것 같아요. 애들이 다 순진하고 착하다 이런 거. 회사와 부모님 갑을 관계로 계약을 했기 때문에 아 이거는 저희 하고 싶지 않아요 하면은 너 회사랑 계약 생각해야 될 텐데 이렇게 이제 나오니까 어린 나이에 좀 무서웠던 것 같아요. 여기서 내가 이거를 반대하고 안 하면은 나는 위약금을 이만큼 물어내야 되고 하기가 힘들겠구나 약간 이런 겁도 났었던 것 같아요.
With it. An example of mismanagement would be Red Velvet's debut. Red Velvet debuted at an extremely turbulent time for SM Entertainment, and their debut was an attempt by SM to take attention away from the numerous controversies they were dealing with. Red Velvet was unprepared and unfinished at the time of their debut, leading to future problems for the group, the biggest being OT4 stans and the damage to Yuri's reputation. So while SM may not have intended to harm Red Velvet, they mismanaged them by having the group debut at a time that they wouldn't be well received and without one of the members. So now that we've gone over the differences between mistreatment and mismanagement, let's talk about what is not mistreatment. Like I said at the beginning of this video, a lot of K-pop stans have been throwing around the word mistreatment pretty carelessly, even when mistreatment isn't actually taking place. For example, a few months ago when ITZY came back with Wannabe, many fans of the group were upset over the distributions for the comeback, specifically for member Chaeryeong. This prompted fans to take to social media to express their outrage at Chaeryeong's mistreatment. One person even took it upon themselves to compile proof of this mistreatment in a thread on Twitter. However, when you go through this thread, you'll realize that a lot of the proof provided doesn't qualify as mistreatment. Knet's making rude comments about Chaeryeong and Chaeryeong being the least popular on brand rankings out of ITZY are both cited as examples of mistreatment. However, neither of these situations fall under mistreatment. While it's upsetting and unfortunate that people are making rude comments about Chaeryeong, this isn't the fault of JYP. I do agree with fans of ITZY that JYP should take responsibility for their idols and take legal action against Knet who have cyberbullied her, but Chaeryeong isn't being bullied as a result of something JYP did to her. The same thing goes for Chaeryeong being the lowest out of the members on brand rankings. In fact, the validity of brand rankings has long been questioned on numerous occasions, and most companies, along with most of the Korean general public, do not take these rankings seriously, as fans have been revealed to manipulate these charts, and they're based largely on whether or not a group or idol is active during the time of its release. The line distribution for Wannabe is also cited as proof of her mistreatment, as she is last in lines and center time and fourth in screen time. This may have been a valid point for another group, but this argument for Chaeryeong's mistreatment is cancelled out by the fact that Chaeryeong has received ample lines, center time, and screen time in their previous releases, and this is only ITZY's second comeback and third release overall. Many people are too quick to rush to classify something as mistreatment without understanding the context around the situation, or even doing something as simple as just taking a moment to think about it logically and without bias. This mindset that your bias or your favorite group is being mistreated when something inconvenient happens is harmful not only to the group but to the fans. Which leads me to my next point. Victimizing your bias is harmful. What fans don't seem to realize is that this constant victimizing eventually starts to affect the idol's image. For example, a lot of stans of so-called underrated groups and/or mistreated groups use the group's misfortune as the main selling point. Stans of groups like CLC and Dreamcatcher, for example, are known for this. But when you push the narrative that a group is the victim so heavily, it becomes the only thing people know about them. They don't know about their talent, their personalities, or their music. All they know is that this group is underrated and/or mistreated. And, for obvious reasons, people don't want to stan a group that's only known for being the victim or the underdog. If the main message that you're pushing to people is that your group is the victim, what gives people the incentive to stan them? I want to be clear that I am not saying that talking about mistreatment among the K-pop industry is a bad thing. I'm saying that when you market your favorite idol or group as a martyr, you prevent people who may not be familiar with them from growing attached to their talent, music, or personalities. All they see your fave as is somebody they should pity. There are ways to discuss mistreatment that don't require fans to turn the mistreatment of their group or idol into an over-dramatized sob story. So that's all for this video. I know I may have stepped on some toes with this one, but I do ask that you guys be respectful towards me and other people in the comments section. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!